Warning: Tsukihime is an adult visual novel with themes and depictions of sex, sexual violence, gore, and abuse. Warnings will be placed before any of these pop up in the video. Just be advised that these themes are in this story.
Hello, this is Arkma, and welcome back to Tsukihime. Last time, we met Tono Shiki and arrived at school with him, only to be given our first choice. Should we ignore the clanging sounds and head to the classroom to avoid being late, or should we give in to our curiosity and go check it out? Well, if a story or game is mentioning a commotion to some degree of detail, of course it'd draw my interest, so I'm making my decision based on that alone.
There's only a few minutes until homeroom. I have to head right away, or I'm curious, so I'll take a look. I mean, I do like cats, and you know what they say. They do be kind of curious. I'll take a look. The source of the noise soon became apparent as I walked towards the courtyard. A female student is crouching in the middle of the tree-lined path, working with a hammer and nails. What is she doing? There are only a few minutes left until homeroom. Maybe she doesn't have a watch? At the moment, that's the best I can come up with. Still, to notice and then just ignore her would be somewhat cruel. I approach her unhurriedly, trying not to surprise her, and speak. Hey, homeroom is starting soon. Oh, I hit the wrong button. We can display the image. So this is the person we are now running into.
Walking to the sound of clanging and clanging, we meet a blue-haired third-year student hammering away at a fence that's been well worn out. Being a second year, Shiki refers to her as just Senpai, since he can't recall her name. Shiki lets us know the state of disrepair the garden and fencing tends to be, and the Senpai informs us that its dilapidated appearance has been drawing all of her attention in class, so she's fixing it, despite today's classes starting soon. After some time talking, the school bell starts to ring.
By the looks of it, there isn't just one or two broken splints. I can't begin to guess how long it will take her to repair all of them on her own. The bell begins to ring. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Looks like the first period started. I give up, considering things have gotten to this point. I sit down silently and begin to help repairing the splints. Once I began to help, I quickly realized mending them isn't that difficult after all. Although the older student is not used to making repairs, she is quite skillful anyway. She's already gotten the hang of it, and work is proceeding at a brisk pace. Senpai's movements are quick and sharp, and I enjoy watching her. She really is quite clever. Before I know it, there is only one splint left to repair. 30 minutes have passed. I can't stay here any longer, and only one more would be no problem for Senpai. Well, I'll be going. I stand up and dust off my pants. The student with the glasses also stands up and begins to stare at me. Oh. There was no text. Huh? Come to think of it, just who is she? I hadn't given it any thought because of what I was doing, but when I stopped to consider her, I realized she is quite beautiful. Someone as this good looking would be known by every male student. They'd be talking about a third-year beauty. I have to go. Don't work too hard, Senpai. She gives an obedient nod. Even though she's older than me, it's almost like dealing with someone younger. Thank you for helping me. I'm glad you did. She makes a quick bow. I'll be sure to come say hello during lunch. Don't forget to wash your hands, Tono-kun. You too, Senpai. With that, I wave my hand and leave. Wait. Huh? Have I met you before, Senpai? Eh? Senpai cries out in surprise and mischievously put on a depressed face. Tono-kun, you've forgotten about me. Forgotten? No, I don't think so. If I had ever met a beautiful woman like her, there'd be no way I'd forget. She looks up at me reproachfully. Those eyes, I'm sure I remember from somewhere, don't I? Come to think of it, we had exchanged greetings once or twice before, hadn't we? Seal Senpai, isn't it? Apprehensively, I suggest her name. Yes, and I'm glad you remember. You seem the type to space out and forget, Tono-kun. I don't think I space out, but there's nothing I can do about the fact that I forgot. See you later then. Sorry for keeping you. CL Senpai bows again. I watch her go, then start to walk towards the school building. I guess we'll just go to second period.
Shiki arrives before second period starts. He tries to take his seat, but just as he does so, he's approached by someone in the classroom.
Yo, truant boy. It's totally unlike you to be late. I sigh. It feels like reality is being hammered back into me after the pleasant time I spent with Senpai. What's with that sour face of yours? Being late is when I'm actually on time. What do you think you're doing?
This is Arihiko Inui, Shiki's one guy friend who is his polar opposite. Where Shiki tends to be a bit more of a straight man and not too loud or expressive, Arihiko is loud, brash, and a bit combative. However, despite these differences, they make a good pair of friends. They met in middle school and have been friends since, and Arihiko understands Shiki's issues with his anemia, and he takes it seriously. All in all, a good guy who provides some good comedy whenever Shiki is at school. Arihiko's more rebellious nature means he often misses classes or entire days, so his presence at school at the beginning of the day prompts Shiki to ask him why. Arihiko talks about a case of serial killings that have been plaguing the town at night. Because of this, the time he would usually spend going out at night has been replaced with him staying at home and sleeping. This results in him actually waking up early and being able to make it to school on time. He mentions there have been 8 victims so far, all young girls, but he fails to remember the state of the bodies that connects each of the killings together. A fellow student, a girl named Yumizuka, chimes in.
Yeah, I remember now. All the victims had cross-shaped slashes on the throats. No, Inui-kun. Everyone who was killed lost a lot of blood. Oh yeah, that was it. I want to give him like a Joey Wheeler, like Boston accent. Oh yeah. They said it was some kind of modern-day vampire or something. You sure know a lot about this, Yumizuka-san. Not really. It's happening in this town, so it's in the news. You'd remember it even if you didn't want to. I see. Well, I didn't. I thought it was happening in a neighboring town, but I guess it moved down here. Well, anyway, that's what happened. Even I wouldn't be going on the streets at night with a killer walking around. That's why I've been waking up at 7 lately. Wait, what? That's it? Having a good reason doesn't make a good story. Where's the fun in that? I sit down while dealing with Arihiko. Man, you're cold. What, did you collapse from anemia already this morning? I'm alright, thanks for asking. If I was anemic 24 hours a day, I'd be dead by now. Yeah, you're right. If you say you're okay, then I guess you're okay. The bell rings while we're talking. Hey, class is about to begin. Hurry up and get back to your seat. Yeah, alright. Oh, by the way, we'll have lunch today in the cafeteria instead of on the roof. I've invited a special guest, so look forward to it. With a scheming laugh, Arihiko returns to his seat. See you later, Tono-kun. Ah, yeah. Sorry for keeping you, Yumizuka-san. Her light footsteps tap across the floor as she returned to her desk, but it's still a mystery to me why she joined our conversation. She's just our classmate. I was gonna say she just kind of came in with no introduction and just left. It's lunchtime. Now then, where should I eat lunch? Oh, I get to actually choose this? I should be, like, saving. Oh, can I not save here? Oh, shit. I'm gonna hit Control S and hope for the best. We could eat in class, we could go to the cafeteria, go out into the hallway and think about it.
So despite Arihiko saying to visit him in the cafeteria, I decided to select the option to think it over in the hallway, as I couldn't predict what would come from it, and there was a possibility of it bringing me there anyways. With the hallways packed with hungry students, Shiki thinks it over in the hallway, deciding after a while just to go to the cafeteria. However, just as he starts, someone comes towards him.
On the way there, a familiar face waves and runs up to me. Oh, it's Ciel. Thank goodness. I've been looking for you, Tono-kun. Oh, Ciel Senpai. Hello. I feel embarrassed for some reason and return her unusual greeting. Yes, hello. We've already met once today, so I guess it's not proper to say hello. A small smile floats onto Senpai's face, as if she found something amusing. Yeah, now that you mention it, I guess you're right. I avert my eyes and give a lukewarm reply, becoming increasingly embarrassed. I wonder. I should be used to speaking to Senpai like this, but for some reason I'm getting a little embarrassed. Tono-kun? Do you have some urgent business? You seem a bit unsettled. No, nothing like that. I don't, but for some reason her every move feels unfamiliar. I can't calm down. It's nothing. More importantly, Senpai, you said you were looking for me? Do you need me for something? Well, I just wanted to thank you this morning, so I was looking for you.
CL wants to thank Shiki for his help this morning and asks to eat lunch together. When Shiki mentions the cafeteria, she starts to drag a flustered and embarrassed Shiki by the arm, who does not like all the attention he's getting from the students in the hall due to this unique scene. At the cafeteria, CL takes charge to get food, while she puts Shiki in charge of getting 2 seats. With it being lunchtime, the cafeteria should be without any empty seats, but he does spot a few seats empty, next to a waiting Arihiko. Talking to him, Shiki's able to deduce that the special guest he mentioned turned out to be CL, to the shock of Arihiko. When she comes back, Inui is still taken aback and is quite restrained from how he usually is. Meanwhile, she brings food, which all happen to be some form of curry.
Itadakimasu. Putting my hands together with a clap, I look down at the tray Senpai brought. And on the menu is curry rice, and curry udon. That's a lot of rice. I don't get it. Senpai? Yes? What is it, Tono-kun? About this. What's going on? What do you mean? It's lunch, isn't it? What else does it look like? What else, you say, but all I see is curry. Yes, it's curry. Senpai laughs happily. The problem is, they all look like curry. There's 3 dishes. Of course. You're a boy, so you eat a lot. I'll have just one, so you please take whatever you like. Ah, okay. In that case, I'll take the curry rice and curry udon. The other choice is hell. Make sure to finish it, Tono-kun. After all, you aren't picky with food, are you? There isn't a shred of antagonism in Senpai's smile, nor is this some kind of joke. The music stops at the weirdest time like that, and then it starts looping again. She truly had good intentions. Yes, itadakimasu. I dig into the curry rice with my spoon in despair, and then... Tono-kun! From beside me came the cry of a dead man being reborn. How long are you gonna ignore your dear best friend? Arihiko's elbow sinks into the side of my stomach with a thud.
With the eating underway, CL explains how she and Shiki met earlier today, and Arihiko tells Shiki about her being known for doing a lot of work around the school as she was this morning. After a bit more conversation and Shiki facing a crisis due to the amount of curry dishes he's about to eat, the talk shifts to each student's living conditions. CL lives in an apartment, while Arihiko lives with a sister. Given Shiki is moving to a new place, it puts him in a weird spot.
So Tono-kun, where do you live? Huh? I silently eat my food when Senpai, peering at me, asks a completely unrelated question. This is very awkward considering we're technically moving. Where? Why do you ask, Senpai? You already heard where I live, right, Tono-kun? I think it's unfair if I don't know where your house is. Unfair? You worry about the strangest things, Senpai. It's not strange. If I don't know where you live, I can't visit you if something happens, right? I stop eating the curry rice. I have the feeling that something has been said that I should be jubilant about. Visit? You mean you'd come visit me if I catch a cold or something? No, I wouldn't. Damn. I don't have any plans to visit at the moment. Smiling, Senpai replies instantly, as if stating the obvious.
After this exchange, he explains properly where he's moving to, on a hill north of the residential district. CL puts together that he means the Tono mansion, and Arihiko chimes in to ask his feelings on the matter, eventually quipping about how much his sister likes Shiki more than him. CL comments on how good of friends they are, and though they both try to disagree with her, Arihiko explains to her that Shiki would often stay with him and his sister since he felt like a burden to the Arimas. After the conversation ends, Arihiko asks CL if he could talk with Shiki alone, and she obliges. Once she has left, Shiki and him start to talk about the whole moving situation.
What's wrong? Oh, while serious all of a sudden. I'll let you know right now that I don't have any money. From today onwards, I'm going to be living life as a penniless student. It's not that, damn it. What I wanted to know is this. What's really going on with you, Tono? What do you mean? You've been at the Arimas since primary school, right? I don't know why, but it's been 8 years already. Your dad has basically disinherited you. Why is he calling you back all of a sudden? I see. In his own strange way, Arihiko is worried about me. He didn't disinherit me. He just kicked me out of the house somehow. Tono-kun, If there was a family that kicked out their kid out of their house somehow, it's not a tragedy, it's a comedy. Oh, it's a party joke. But it's so boring, it's not funny. Arihiko spreads his arms and shrugs. Yeah, I guess you're right. If you get kicked out of the house, all you can really do is laugh. And then he said some cliche line like, never step foot in this house again, or something, right? That's what people would call disinheritance. Come to think of it, I've never heard why you were disinherited. Who knows? That's something I'd like to know too. Well, if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to. Grabbing his bowl with both hands, Arihiko drains what is left of his chikara udon. Lunchtime is short. Following Arihiko, I decide to quickly finish my curry udon.
After classes end, Shiki spaces out in the classroom as everyone else leaves. He doesn't feel like going to the mansion just yet, so he waits and laments the sunset that starts enveloping the classroom. Here, we learn of Shiki's distaste for the color red, something he associates with blood. The color makes him sick, something he attributes to the accident 8 years ago, as that's when his anemia also started flaring up. After some time thinking more about his living situation, we are given another choice: head straight to the mansion, or stay a little longer at school.
Now then, I can get a hold of myself and head back to the mansion, or I can stay in school for a little longer. I mean, on the one hand, we'd probably want to go there now, but on the other hand, I kind of want to stay a little longer, see what's up.
In the hallway, Shiki runs into CL once again, who came to the second-year classroom to talk with him. Shiki accepts, and they head to the tea ceremony room.
Wow, our school has a room like this? Could it be for the tea ceremony club? Yes, it's the tea ceremony club's room for now. It seems like it hasn't been used up until I came, though. Senpai steps on the tatami mat and starts preparations with a rattling noise. A club room, huh? If that's the case, won't the other club members be coming? It'd be bad for an outsider like me to be here, right, Senpai? It's okay. It may be the tea ceremony club, but there aren't any members except for me. Thanks to that, I can use it freely during break time and after school. Here we go. Smiling, Senpai begins spreading the cushions. Tea is tea, but it looks like this is really going to be a serious tea ceremony. To be honest, I'm a bit overwhelmed. Senpai, I don't have the slightest clue what to do. What are you talking about? I only know up to the pouring bit myself. With that blunt reply, Senpai put the teapot, some cups, and some tea cakes out onto the table, or onto a plate. We are just going to have a casual conversation, though there's no need to be formal. It isn't fun that way, is it? Smiling softly, Senpai pours tea into her own cup.
After drinking some tea, CL asks more about the conversation at lunch, about Shiki's home situation in particular. He explains about the accident, his bad health, and the living situation he had with the Arimas. However, it is here we learn something crucial about him changing houses. His father, who had made him stay with the Arimas, passed away, and the new head of the household called for his return. CL asks if he disliked the Arimas, which he rejects. The Arimas were very good to him, but he never felt that he could live with them as a family. He felt more like a stranger, and it was a feeling he could never resolve. After this, CL makes a comment that Shiki wasn't expecting.
See? It was boring after all, right? That's why I said it would be a waste of time. No, that's not true. It was a very meaningful story. Senpai forces a smile to try and diffuse the situation. But it was a little surprising because I had thought of you as an easygoing person. Well, I basically am an easygoing person. It's my personal philosophy to enjoy the present as much as possible. People are happier enjoying what it is to come rather than being concerned what happened before, right? Well, actually, that was an opinion I had inherited from Arihiko. Enjoy what is to come? That sounds nice. Senpai sips her tea with this very gentle smile. I follow Senpai's example and place my lips to the cup. With a slurp, the bitter tea washes down my throat with just a hint of sweetness. It's making me want some tea now, but it's way too in the middle of the night for that.
After leaving school, Shiki heads to the Toto mansion, having delayed his arrival for long enough. On his way, his feelings are all mixed as he remembers his time at the mansion before he left. His father scolding him for not being proper and unable to follow the family's strict lessons. His sister Akiha, who he used to play with outside the mansion, but who was burdened with a harsh upbringing to bring her in line with the family business. Despite trying to see each other after the accident, the two did not meet, and all communication ended when Akiha was sent to a boarding school. It is to see her again that he finds himself coming back to the mansion.
My old man died, and I received word telling me to come back. To be blunt, I had no intention whatsoever of returning to the Tono house. But Akiha is at that house. She's sad. When we were children, Akiha was the obedient child, always looking frightened, as if she were constantly enduring something. She would always follow close behind her footsteps, pattering behind me. She was frail, and her long black hair and fancy Western clothing made her resemble a French doll. I am worried about her living all alone in that big mansion, with the old man gone. But more than anything, I feel guilty, after pushing all the Tono family responsibilities on her and selfishly living a free life by myself. Perhaps my acceptance to return to the mansion is like my apology to Akiha.
Making his way to the mansion gates, it truly sinks in the scale of the property. He compares the size of the garden just past the entrance to a forest, something night and day to his home with the Arimas. Making his way through the open gate, he sees the main building, the mansion itself. After taking in its size, he makes his way to the door.
Besides the iron double doors is an unmatching doorbell. Alright. Shaking off my nervousness, I press it. There isn't any affectionate ding-dong chime from the doorbell. The impressive silence continues for a few seconds. Then the sound of pattering footsteps behind the door indicates someone's presence. Maybe it's like one of those like old-timey doorbells where it makes like the zapping sound, like the bzzz. But it's kind of light, like someone's like waiting in a section so they can hear that noise and go, I gotta go to the door. Bzzz. We have been waiting for you. The door opens with a creak. Inside lay the lobby I remembered and a young girl in an apron. Oh, this is her. Thank goodness. You're so late I was beginning to worry you had gotten lost. I was thinking about going out to meet you if you hadn't arrived by sunset. The girl in the anachronistic apron. The girl in the anachronistic apron smiles warmly. No, that's, I was so taken aback by her outdated mode of dress that I can't even form a proper sentence. Perhaps attributing my hesitance to distrust, the girl tilts her head a little. You're Shiki-sama, aren't you? Yeah, but you don't have to call me Sama. You are, right? Oh, please don't scare me like that. I was beginning to think I had made another mistake back there. The girl's mannerisms are like those of a mother scolding her child. But in spite of that, there's a smile on her face, and it doesn't break the warm feeling around her. She wears an apron over a kimono. She comes out to greet guests and address someone like me with Sama. This must mean that she's... are you one of the maids here by chance? The girl answers my question with nothing but a smile. Come, you must be tired. Please, come in. Akiha-sama is waiting for you in the sitting room. The girl quickly crosses the lobby and heads toward the sitting room. Turning back as if she just remembers something, she makes a bow, a full smile on her face. Welcome home, Shiki-sama. Her greeting is accompanied by her flower-like smile. I can't think of any reply, so I just follow her hesitantly. Hesitantly. Guided by the girl, I headed to the sitting room. It's as if I'm seeing it for the first time. I don't know if I've forgotten about it in the last 8 years or they had refurbished it since then. Either way, it feels like someone else's house now, and it's unsettling. As I'm looking around the sitting room, the maid in the apron lowers her head in a quick bow. I brought Shiki-sama with me. Well done. You may return to the kitchen, Kohaku. Thank you. It seems the maid's name is Kohaku. Kohaku-san gives a small bow as if to say farewell and leaves the sitting room. That leaves me and 2 girls I don't recognize. I just realized the issue because I was given CL essentially the same voice that I was given Hisui. That's gonna be hard. It has been a long time, Nissan, says the girl with the long black hair and sharp eyes. All of my thought processes stopped at once. My mind goes blank and I can't stop thinking of any words of greeting. All I can do is nod with a, yeah. I don't think it can be helped. This Akiha that I had not seen in 8 years is not the Akiha I remember. She's completely transformed into a proper young lady of a noble family. Nissan? The black-haired girl tilts her head slightly. Pathetically, all I can say are dumb-sounding things. My mind is turning in somersaults as I try to recognize the girl before me as Akiha, but it seems like Akiha already recognizes me as her brother. You do not look well. Would you like to rest before we talk? Akiha throws a sharp glance in my direction. Is it just my imagination that she looks like she's in a bad mood? No, I'm alright. I was just surprised at how much you've changed, Akiha. People change over the course of 8 years, Nissan. We're at an age of change. Or do you think we would remain as we were forever? What is this? I can feel the thorns in Akiha's words. No, you've definitely changed, Akiha. You become more beautiful than before. That isn't flattery. It's how I really feel. And, indeed. But you, on the other hand, have not changed much at all. Akiha answers coldly, her eyes closed.
As their restarted relationship starts up on the wrong foot, Akiha asks if Shiki knows why he was called back. Shiki replies yes, explaining that he found out about his father's death not from the letter telling him to come home, but because he was able to see word of his funeral on the newspaper. Akiha apologizes for the news not reaching him, but he dismisses it, as it wouldn't change the situation. She then explains the Tono family situation since their father's death. Herself and Shiki are the only members of the main family left, and it was her idea to call him back, reasoning it to be odd for the eldest son to be living with another family for his whole life. Shiki, surprised at this, questions what the family's relatives thought of this decision, which she responds that she was the head of the family and that any of their requests were rejected. Furthermore, she even kicked everyone else out of the house, leaving only her, Shiki, and 2 others, to his amazement.
Let's get back to the topic. Right now, you and I are the only ones living here. I do not care for having too many people around, so I cleared everyone out. Hold on a second, Akiha. You cleared everyone out? You wouldn't want to run into one of our relatives in the mansion, would you, Nissan? I have put off most of my servants, but there are enough for you and I, so there are no problems. Wait, no problems? You're going to get attacked at our family meeting if you do something like that. Oh, please be quiet. Rather than have the mansion overflowing with people, wouldn't you feel more relaxed with just the 2 of us here? Ugh. Well, it's true that I would feel more relaxed, but you've only just become head of the family, Akiha. If you go around abusing your powers like some kind of dictator, our relatives are not going to keep quiet. Even the old man didn't go against their opinions. Indeed. That's why father entrusted you to the Arimas. I, on the other hand, have despised them ever since I was a child. I am not going to put up with their whining any longer. Not going to put up with... Look, Akiha! Enough! Just listen. You don't need to worry about me. Please, just worry about your own life from now on, Nissan. I can see it's going to be difficult for you in many ways. Akiha says sullenly, looking away a little. Now then, if there's anything you don't understand, ask her, Hisui. I'm sorry you're gonna have the same voice as Ciel, I'm sorry. She looked at the girl standing beside her. The girl called Hisui bowed expressionlessly. This is Hisui. She will be a personal maid from now on. Is that acceptable? Hold on, personal maid? You mean... In other words, she's your servant, Akiha declares, as if it were obvious. I can't believe it. Fitting with the Western style of the house, the girl in the maid outfit stands there, as if it is natural to do so. Hold on. I'm not a kid, you know. I don't need a servant. I can take care of myself. Would that include the cooking and the laundry? Akiha is pretty sharp at pointing these things out. At any rate, now that you've returned to this house, you will obey my directions. I don't know how you lived at the Arima house, but you're living at the Tono house now. Please accept everything given to you. I can't say anything, and my eyes drift towards Hisui. As expected, she simply looks back at me expressionlessly like a doll. Well then, Hisui, please show Nissan to his room. Yes, my lady. Hisui approaches me with a shadow-like lack of presence. I will guide you to your room, Shiki-sama. Hisui heads toward the lobby. Sighing, I head off towards the lobby as well.
As they leave the sitting room, Shiki gives a breakdown of the mansion. The mansion is split into 2 wings, east and west, and has 2 floors. Shiki and Akiha's room is on the 2nd floor, while the servants' quarters and the sitting room are on the 1st. Making their way to his new room, its fancy look throws him off. Hisui notes that the room has not been used for 8 years, and confirms Shiki's thoughts that this was his room. Despite still feeling unfamiliar, he situates himself on the bed, and with his small bag of belongings, tries to make himself at home. After a dinner full of tension, as he doesn't have the proper table manners that come with it, as well as his discomfort that only he and Akiha eat while Hisui and Kohaku tend to them, Shiki heads back to his room. He reckons that he still has some time before sleeping, so we get one more choice for the day.
Finishing dinner, I return to my room. I mean, I guess. It's still only just past 8 at night. It's too early to sleep, so what should I do? We could go to the sitting room and talk to Akiha, stay in my own room, or go watch TV in Kohaku's room. I'll stay in my room. Ugh. Stressed from the dinner, I loosen my shoulders. I stretch out as far as I can and then collapse onto the bed. Man, even dinner is hard work. Well, it's not like the knife and fork are really heavy. It's just that Akiha's gaze is really severe. Are you there, Shiki-sama? I hear Sui's voice along with a knock at the door. Yeah, I'm here. Come in. Excuse me. Isui enters with a bow. I have come to make the bed. You may not enjoy watching it, so would you mind relaxing in the sitting room for a while? No, I don't mind watching. I'll just behave myself in the corner, so go ahead and do your job without minding me. Bouncing up from the bed, I move into a corner. Just in the corner, in the fetal position. Hisui looks like she wants to say something, but thinks better of it and silently begins to make the bed. Hisui. Yes? What is it, Shiki-sama? Oh, you can keep making the bed. There's no need for you to stand up so straight. Hisui doesn't answer. It seems like she's had a servant's education drummed into her. Please, just talk to me while you work. I'm beginning to feel bad because it seems like I'm interfering with your work. If you say so, Shiki-sama, then I will comply. Hisui silently returns to making the bed. Is it true that the curfew here is 7? Oh, yes. The main gate is locked at 7, and all of the entrances to the mansion are to be locked at 8. It is also a rule that one must try not to go walking around the mansion after 10. Not even walking around the mansion? Well, I've got no complaint with that, but isn't that kind of harsh? Akiha and I aren't children, so I don't think you have to go that far. Indeed. It is a rule, however, so please abide by it. You are aware of the recent disturbances at night, are you not, Shiki-sama? Yeah, that vampire thing Arihiko was talking about. Well, as long as something like that is happening, I guess it's better to be safe than sorry. Do you have any other questions? Hisui finishes spreading the sheets and turns around to face me. Let's see. I have all sorts of questions, but I know nothing about Hisui and Kohaku-san. Do you mind if I ask an off-topic question? Yes, what is it? I'd like to know what kind of work you and Kohaku-san do around here. I am here to serve your needs, and my sister Kohaku is to serve the lady Akiha-sama. In our spare time, we do the maintenance chores around the mansion. Is there anything more you would like to know? To serve, so that's what it is after all. My shoulders suddenly feel heavier. It seemed completely normal to Akiha when she said it, but I'm nothing more than a normal high school student. I have no interest in having a girl close to my age serving me, at least for now. By serving me, you mean you're a personal servant? Yes. Please do not hesitate to ask anything of me. Well, I get it. Going by how Akiha was talking about you, it doesn't seem like I can dismiss you, so I'll just obediently let you serve me. Is there anything in particular you would like? Oh, is there anything in particular you would like? Nothing in particular, but could you stop calling me Shiki-sama? To be honest, I get chills down my back when I hear it. But Shiki-sama, you are my master. That's why I'm saying I hate it. I've been living a normal life up until yesterday. I have no desire to start living a life where a girl my age dresses me with sama. I see. Hisui response was less than enthusiastic. Just call me Shiki, and in exchange, I'll call you Hisui. Let's do away with the formalities and be more casual with each other. Still expressionless, Hisui lowers her eyebrows as if she's being troubled. But you are my employer. It's not like I'm hiring you. You're the one doing the things I can't, so you're the great one. I see. Hisui gives another unenthusiastic reply. It looks like I won't be able to talk to her into it in just one day. Anyhow, that's how it is. Don't be so formal towards me. I'll be grateful if you tell that to your sister Kohaku-san as too. Very well. As you say, Shiki-sama. Expressionless, Hisui bows her head. She completely failed to understand. I will be leaving now. Please rest for tonight. Bowing, Hisui puts her hand on the doorknob. Oh, I forgot to ask something. Hold on for a second. Rushing towards the door, I put my hand on Hisui's shoulder before she leaves. In an instant, Hisui's arm pushes away my arm with incredible momentum. With a whack, she slaps my hand away and leaps back. It's so sudden, the only thing I can say. Hisui is expressionless, but she glares at me fiercely. Did I do something wrong? I am very sorry. Isui's voice sounds very nervous. I am not used to being touched. Please forgive me. Isui's shoulders are faintly trembling. I feel like I just did something really terrible. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize without thinking. I don't understand why myself. I just feel sorry for Hisui and I lower my head. Hisui says nothing. I get the feeling her stare is calm again. You have nothing to apologize for, Shiki-sama. I am the one to blame. No, well, maybe, but I scratch my head. Hisui stares at me, pausing only to blink for a second. What is it that you wanted to ask me, Shiki-sama? That's right. I stopped Hisui because I wanted to ask her something. Oh, I wanted to ask about Akiha. Doesn't she go to a boarding school? That was only during middle school, Shiki-sama. From this year onwards, Akiha-sama has special permission to attend school from home. Ah, you mean she goes to school from here? Yes, but it is uncommon for her to come home before dusk like today. Akiha-sama has practice until dinner, so she is always home before 7. Practice? Practice what? Today is Thursday, so she would have had violin practice. Usually, she is able to return before dinner on weekdays, so if you have anything to say to Akiha-sama, please let Nissan know after dinner. Isui bows to say goodbye and leaves the room. Violin practice? What on earth is that? What do you mean, you don't know what a violin is? She's not some upper-class lady or anything, so why should she have to do something as bothersome as... Oh, wait. She is an upper-class lady. Yes. Come to think of it, my sister, Tono Akiha, is a natural-born upper-class lady. In my memory, she was always the obedient, ever-uneasy sister, constantly following me around. As a child, she was always quiet, never having even the courage to express her own desires. She was a frail girl who would always live in fear of a scolding from our father. Yeah, people really do change after 8 years. After 8 years, I become the me I am now. Akiha has become the person she is right now, too. 8 years is a long time. It's half of our lives up until now. I was absent from this mansion during the vital period where a child becomes an adult. I'm sorry, Akiha. I think things would have been better if I had been with her during those 8 years. I unknowingly mumble an apology.
After talking with Hisui, it's time to sleep. His mind full of thoughts of this past day and what is to come tomorrow, Shiki eventually drifts to sleep. However, he is awoken by the howling of dogs. He tries to ignore it, but after the sounds start to intensify, he decides to take a look.
Even Akiha and the others wouldn't be able to sleep with a racket like this. Since I'm the only man in the house, I guess I've got no choice but to go investigate. I think it's coming from the right side of the mansion. I open the curtains and check what's happening outside. And outside my room is a large tree. On one of the branches is perched a blue crow. I don't like this. Give me a second. I want to display image. This is threatening. That's what the Hot Pocket sees when it's in the microwave. In the dark night, I can see nothing but black, and yet it's quite clear to me that the crow is blue. I've never seen or ever even heard of a blue crow before. It glares at me. It feels like the eyes of the crow are staring at me, like soulless mechanical lenses. Quah! After a yawn-like cry, it noiselessly flies off. What was that? I can feel a faint chill on my back. The howling of the dog grows louder. Ah-woo! 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 It's really starting to get on my nerves now. Not only is it noisy, but hearing it causes my heart to start pounding. I have an almost instinctual distaste for it. Shut up! I change out of my pajamas into my uniform and leave the room. Uh-oh. Oh. The howling echoes through the night. That sound is definitely coming from the right-hand side of the mansion. For some reason, my throat feels dry. The high walls stretch their way around the mansion. Clearing my throat, I headed towards where the dogs must be gathered. I arrive at where the howling originates. Huh? Oh. The howling doesn't stop, but there are no signs of any dogs. All there is a person. Under the light from the streetlight that carves apart the darkness stands a man in a dark coat. The howling is coming from right beside him. but there are no dogs to be seen anywhere. The man in the coat is pretty tall. He has a strongly built body and his back is facing me. My throat, so dry. Ooh. The voice of the dog resounds in my ear. The night air coils itself around my skin. For no apparent reason, I have difficulty breathing and moving, as if I'm at the bottom of the sea. Wah! A cry overhead. With a loud flapping of its wings, the blue crow lands onto the man's shoulder. Then, suddenly, the crow vanishes. Eh? Can it be an illusion? It looked like the crow disappeared into his black coat. The man in the black coat turns around. Oh, that guy definitely looks normal. Yeah. The man in the black coat turns around. Under the white streetlight, he is just like a shadow. A black lump. In the middle of that black lump, only the weapon-like eyes shine out, burning with a fiery intelligence. I can't breathe. But unfortunately, those eyes seem like they're not even looking at me. Not here after all. The man in the black coat leaves. When I can no longer see him, I am finally able to breathe properly again. I managed to take a few breaths. I realize the dog's howling has ceased. I return to my room. There is no sign of Akiha or the others being awake. I guess I'm the only one who couldn't stand the dog's howling. Gah! What's happening? My head still hurts. Huh? Why am I trembling? Looking down, my fingers are trembling. My entire body is shaking and my back feels very cold. It's almost like... yes. It's like someone ripped out my spine and replaced it with ice. I feel dizzy. Is it just the usual anemia? I get the feeling of falling towards the floor. On the way, I see something unpleasant. Uh-oh. What? Even though I'm wearing my glasses, I can still see the lines. I hadn't seen them at all for a long time, so my reaction is magnified. I feel sick. With the dizziness from my anemia, I feel like I'm about to throw up the contents of my stomach. What's going on? I don't understand. Only that as long as my eyes are open, scribbles fly everywhere across my vision. It's a bad dream. Somehow I managed to collapse into the bed. Yes, I should sleep. That's the easiest way to deny what I'm seeing. My body doesn't move as I want it to. All I should do is lie here and fall fast asleep, like a corpse.
We have reached the end of the first chapter. With the many experiences he's had today, and the ending of the night leaving him nervous and confused, we'll end today's episode here. Thank you so much for watching, and next time, I'll see you for Chapter 2, Inversion Impulse 2.